Welcome to Bad Guy Compendium, the ultimate podcast for fans of comic books, movies, and the unforgettable villains that make them unforgettable. I'm your host, Finley Strong. The Slender Man. A deep dive into internet folklore and cultural impact. Slender Man, a faceless, unnaturally tall figure often depicted in a black suit with elongated tentacle-like appendages, is one of the most infamous figures in internet folklore. Created in 2009 on the Something Awful forums, he has since transcended his origins to become an eerie symbol of modern horror, encapsulating the fears and anxieties that lurk in the digital age. From video games to films and unsettling news stories, Slender Man has managed to ingrain himself into popular culture, creating a legacy that bridges internet fiction and reality. Slender Man. From internet meme to urban legend. The Something Awful forum contest in 2009. Slender Man was born out of a Photoshop contest on the Something Awful forums in June 2009. The contest invited users to create eerie, paranormal images, and user Eric Knudsen, under the pseudonym Victor Surge, submitted a pair of photos that would introduce Slender Man to the world. The photos, black and white and slightly grainy, depicted children with a tall, faceless figure lurking in the background, dressed in a dark suit with unnaturally long limbs. The accompanying text provided by Knudsen painted Slender Man as a mysterious figure connected to disappearances and supernatural happenings. A chilling caption read, "We didn't want to go, we didn't want to kill them, but its persistent silence and outstretched arms horrified and comforted us at the same time." This simple but evocative narrative ignited the collective imagination, and soon Slender Man became a communal creation, with various users contributing their own stories, photos, and artwork. Following the initial post, Slender Man's mythos expanded through a crowdsourced storytelling effort across the internet. Websites like Creepypasta Wiki, 4chan, and Reddit became fertile ground for new Slender Man stories, blending elements of horror, conspiracy, and the supernatural. Slender Man was cast as a faceless predator who targeted children and young people, lurking in the shadows and driving people to madness. The mythos portrayed Slender Man as an enigma, a creature without a clear origin or motive, which made him even more terrifying. This aspect was especially appealing in online horror storytelling, as it allowed creators to play with themes of ambiguity, paranoia, and the unknown. By not defining Slender Man's nature fully, each iteration of the character added new layers to his already cryptic persona. Physical appearance and iconography. Slender Man's unsettling appearance is one of his most defining traits. Towering at an inhuman height, with an elongated body, faceless head, and dressed in a dark suit, he resembles a spectral figure who can blend into the shadows. His facelessness is often cited as one of his most terrifying features, symbolizing anonymity and inhumanity. Some interpretations of Slender Man depict him with black tendrils or tentacles that extend from his back, adding an even more supernatural element to his already eerie form. Abilities and influence. The Slender Man mythos endowed him with supernatural abilities. He was said to be able to stretch his limbs and torso to inhuman lengths, shapeshift, and teleport. Slender Man's influence over people's minds, particularly causing paranoia, hallucinations, and a condition known as slender sickness, marked by nausea, night terrors, and memory loss, became core elements of his myth. His presence itself was described as unnerving, instilling dread in anyone who encountered him. Themes of psychological and supernatural horror. Slender Man's fear factor often derives from psychological horror rather than overt violence. He represents the terror of the unknown, of being watched, and of an impending threat that can't be reasoned with. But the notion that he chooses his victims seemingly at random heightens this sense of horror. He could be anywhere, watching anyone, at any time. This aspect taps into existential fears and the horror of losing control over one's environment and mind. The Marble Hornets web series. The Marble Hornets YouTube series, which premiered in 2009 shortly after Slender Man's creation, played a pivotal role in popularizing him. Created by Troy Wagner and Joseph Delage, Marble Hornets follows a fictional narrative in the found footage style, centering on a film student whose project unravels into a terrifying investigation involving a Slender Man-like figure known as the Operator. Marble Hornets set a precedent for Slender Man storytelling, popularizing the found footage horror style in a digital format and presenting the character as an ever-present, malevolent force lurking in the background of seemingly ordinary events. The series' viral success contributed to Slender Man's spread and inspired numerous other web series and horror creators to develop similar content. Slender Man in video games. Slender, the 8 Pages and Beyond. One of the most impactful appearances of Slender Man in media came with the release of the indie video game Slender, the 8 Pages in 2012. Created by Mark J. Hadley, the game places players in a dark forest, tasked with collecting 8 pages while avoiding the relentless pursuit of Slender Man. The minimalist game design, combined with the tension of being hunted by a faceless stalker, quickly became a hit in the indie gaming community and inspired countless playthrough videos on YouTube. The game's success led to a follow-up titled Slender: The Arrival, which expanded on the lore and gameplay mechanics, solidifying Slender Man as a fixture in horror gaming. His inclusion in other horror-themed games and mods further demonstrated his impact on the genre, as he became a recognizable figure in horror gaming culture. Slender Man's popularity inevitably led to his appearance in film. In 2018, a major film adaptation titled Slender Man was released, directed by Sylvain White. The film attempted to capture the terror of Slender Man, but it received a mixed response, with criticisms focused on its lack of originality and depth. The film struggled to capture the psychological horror that made Slender Man so iconic online, instead opting for more conventional horror tropes. Despite the film's reception, Slender Man's influence continued to be seen in other horror movies, TV shows, and media. He inspired various derivative characters and similar entities in popular horror works, symbolizing the rise of internet horror icons in mainstream storytelling. The 2014 Wisconsin stabbing incident. In May 2014, Slender Man gained worldwide media attention due to a tragic incident in Waukesha, Wisconsin. 2 12-year-old girls lured a friend into the woods and stabbed her multiple times, later explaining that they committed the crime to appease Slender Man. The victim survived, but the incident shocked the public and raised concerns about the impact of internet mythology on young and impressionable minds. This event led to widespread criticism of Slender Man content, particularly as it pertains to younger audiences. The incident sparked debates on the responsibilities of internet communities and platforms in moderating user-generated horror content. It also added a darker dimension to Slender Man's legacy, as he became linked to real-world violence and the risks of blurred lines between fiction and reality. Psychological studies and the legacy of urban legends. Slender Man has since become a subject of study in fields such as psychology, folklore, and media studies. Scholars have analyzed how his story fits within the tradition of urban legends and how the internet has accelerated and altered the way these legends spread. Unlike traditional urban legends passed through oral storytelling, Slender Man's story is a product of digital collaboration and modification, reflecting the internet's unique ability to create living myths that evolve over time. Ongoing influence and cultural impact. Today, Slender Man remains an iconic figure in internet folklore. He has become symbolic of the internet's power to create new myths and the unique ways in which digital culture shapes modern horror. From memes to cosplays, he is a staple in online horror culture, and his image has been appropriated, remixed, and reinterpreted countless times. Slender Man is more than just an internet monster. He represents a turning point in how we create, share, and interact with horror in the digital age. Born from a single image on a message board, he evolved into a collective project, shaped by countless voices and spread across platforms. His story taps into universal fears of the unknown, of surveillance, and of forces beyond our control, all themes that resonate deeply in a world where privacy and anonymity are increasingly at risk. Slender Man's legacy endures not only in horror media, but also in the annals of internet culture as a cautionary tale about the power and consequences of digital mythology. Whether as a source of entertainment, psychological study, or social caution, Slender Man's story exemplifies the strange, haunting power of internet-born legends, and how the monsters of the modern age are no longer confined to haunted forests or cursed objects. They exist in the infinite corridors of the online world. Subscribe to Bad Guy Compendium anywhere you get your podcast or at roguemedianetwork.com and get ready to delve into the minds of the most iconic villains in pop culture history. I've been your host, Finley Strong, and remember, Evil never sleeps, but bad guys are forever.